There's this crisis happening right now that feels like it's a world away, but its shockwaves, they could be heading straight for your wallet. It's a really complex situation that connects global politics, military action, and yeah, the price of your everyday stuff. Let's connect the dots.
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? How can a tax on ships in the Middle East actually change what you pay at the grocery store? Well, the connection is way more direct and powerful than you might think. So let's break it all down. Okay, right off the bat, let's be super clear about this. We're not just talking about some small regional skirmish. The Red Sea crisis is being described as a hidden but very, very real danger to the entire global economy. It's the kind of issue that has the potential to impact pretty much everyone, everywhere. So, what exactly is the Red Sea crisis? Well, in a nutshell, it's a series of attacks that are targeting commercial vessels, the huge container ships and oil tankers that carry, well, everything. And it's happening in one of the most critical shipping lanes on the entire planet, causing massive disruptions to international trade.
And to really get why this is such a big deal, you've got to understand something fundamental. Global trade is literally the world's lifeline. Just think about it for a second. Almost everything you own, from the phone in your hand to the clothes on your back, even the food you eat, chances are it's traveled on a ship at some point.
And listen, we are not talking about small change here. We're talking about billions, with a B, billions of dollars in goods moving through this tiny strip of water every single day. It's like a central artery for the global economy, connecting the places that make stuff in Asia with all of us who buy stuff in Europe and beyond.
And this slide really highlights the logistical nightmare that this has become. See, the Red Sea route going through the Suez Canal, that's the global superhighway. It's way shorter, which means it's cheaper on fuel and just much more efficient. The alternative? A super long, super costly detour all the way around the bottom of Africa. It's a terrible option, but it's becoming the only safe one. So why on earth are companies taking this incredibly expensive detour? Well, it's because commercial ships are being attacked by Houthi rebels who are based in Yemen. Now, they claim they're doing this for political reasons, but the number one impact, the thing that's really being felt, is economic. It's forcing all the major shipping companies to just avoid the area altogether. And, this whole thing didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's been building. A few months ago, we started hearing the first reports of attacks. That quickly grew into serious concern from international shipping companies. And now, it's a full-blown crisis, where the U.S. and its allies have launched naval missions to protect ships. But the route is still considered high risk. Okay, and this is the crucial part. This is the step-by-step chain reaction that connects those attacks directly to you. It's a domino effect, right? First, the attacks make the route unsafe. So what happens? Companies reroute their ships that long, expensive way around Africa. That detour jacks up shipping costs. More fuel, more time, more everything. Then, companies pass those extra costs down the line, to us, the consumers. And that, my friends, is how a conflict in the Red Sea puts pressure on prices everywhere and can lead to inflation. And if you're wondering why it's so much more expensive, this chart breaks it down perfectly. It's a perfect storm of costs. First, you've got way higher fuel costs, because the journey is literally thousands of miles longer. Then, there's the increased time, which causes huge delays in the supply chain. And finally, insurance costs have gone through the roof for any ship even thinking about going near what's now considered a war risk zone.
So what kind of stuff could get more expensive? Well, we're talking about the things you buy all the time. Electronics, different kinds of food, gas and diesel for your car, and just tons of other daily use products are all at risk of price hikes because of these shipping problems. But wait, there's another really big piece to this puzzle: oil. The Middle East is, of course, a huge supplier of the world's oil. So when these vital shipping lanes get disrupted, the reliable flow of oil is threatened. And that uncertainty, all by itself, can be enough to make fuel prices spike all over the world. So, okay, the world isn't just sitting back and watching this happen, right? The US and its allies have sent in warships. They're trying to protect these commercial ships. But here's the reality so far. It hasn't completely stopped the attacks. That whole route remains tense, and it's still considered incredibly high risk. And the stakes here are just incredibly high. This warning from an expert really puts it all into perspective. If this crisis drags on, the entire global trade supply chain could be seriously, seriously disturbed. And you have to remember, this is all happening after the pandemic absolutely wrecked our supply chains. They're still fragile. This is the last thing they needed. And as if the economic stuff wasn't enough, there's a huge geopolitical risk here, too. The Middle East is already a powder keg.
This crisis has just created a new flashpoint, and if more major countries get pulled into this conflict directly, the whole situation could get a lot more serious really, really fast.
And so that leaves us with this final massive question. We've seen how a conflict that seems so far away can create these economic ripples that touch every single one of us. So, is this the world's next major economic shock, or is it just a temporary mess that'll get sorted out? The answer isn't clear yet, but you can bet we'll all be watching it closely because we're all going to feel the effects one way or another.